You really have to pay attention when a potential lead investor puts something in writing like this. Calling it a top priority candidate and saying it would be irrational not to engage, that's what gets you in the room. So let's get right into it and break down exactly what this external AGI reasoning layer is and why it's generating this kind of buzz.
What we're talking about today is the crawl reasoning model, and I want to be crystal clear right from the get-go. This is not just another incremental improvement in AI. For years, AI has been a race to get better at predicting the next word. This is something else entirely. It's a fundamental shift, a new paradigm. It's a cognitive architecture designed to move beyond statistical guesswork and into genuine, explicit reasoning. It's all about understanding the why, not just predicting the what.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with that core paradigm shift. Then we're going to pop the hood and look at the actual architecture of thought. After that, we'll see how its hyper-efficient memory core makes it all possible. Then we get to the real magic, making knowledge a transferable asset. From there, we'll see what this unleashes in the real world with a new autonomous workforce. And finally, we'll tie it all together with the investment opportunity.
All right, first up, the new paradigm. This is the single most important concept to grasp. We're talking about a move away from the simple pattern matching we've seen for years and into the world of true structured reasoning. This slide really lays it all out. Two completely different worlds. On one hand, you've got your traditional LLMs. They are statistical marvels, no doubt. They predict the next word in a sequence, and all their knowledge is kind of baked in, implicit within billions of model weights. But on the other hand, you have the Crowell reasoning model. The CRM doesn't predict words. It actually models the process of thinking. It uses what are called dynamical systems to map out how an idea flows from one logical point to the next, making all of its knowledge explicit and accessible. And this quote just nails the difference perfectly. Think about it. An LLM is like someone who's memorized every single multiplication table. It's incredibly impressive, but it's also rigid. The CRM, though, is like someone who actually understands the method of multiplication. They can solve any problem you throw at them because the method itself is transferable. It's way more efficient and ultimately a heck of a lot more powerful. Okay, so how does it actually do this? How does it reason? Let's get under the hood and look at the core architecture that makes this new kind of thinking possible.
So at the very heart of the CRM is this beautiful concept called topographic reasoning. Just picture the process of thinking as a kind of fluid 3D landscape. As the system works on a problem, the best ideas, the strongest candidate solutions, literally rise up as peaks. The system then builds ridges between these peaks to compare them against each other. And here's the brilliant part. It can combine the best parts of multiple peaks into a new, higher-level meta-peak. That's how it does things like abstraction and analogy. It's a system that doesn't just find an answer. It actively explores the landscape of possibilities to find the best answer.
And this isn't just a theory. You can actually watch it think. What you're looking at here is a live execution trace of the system solving the famous bat and ball problem, a riddle that trips up a lot of people and a lot of AIs. See that first path? That's the quick, intuitive, but wrong answer. But then look what happens. The system realizes its own mistake, it loops back, challenges its first assumption, and then applies first principles to find the correct answer. The whole process is laid bare. It's transparent, it's traceable, it's not a black box. So you're probably wondering, how did it know to switch to first principles? Well, that's the job of the Super DICE framework. Think of this as a built-in playbook of 6 powerful critical thinking strategies. The system looks at a problem and dynamically picks the right tool for the job. So if you ask it, why did our project fail? It might pull out the 5 whys to get to the root cause. But if you ask it to brainstorm new product ideas, it could use parallel dice to explore tons of different avenues at once. It's a strategic toolkit for thinking.
Now, having a brilliant reasoning system is one thing, but making it practical, affordable, and scalable is another. And that brings us to its radical efficiency, all thanks to a hyper-efficient memory core that delivers massive scale with a surprisingly tiny footprint.
Let me just cut right to the chase. This isn't science fiction. We are talking about AGI-capable reasoning running on a mobile phone. And that's not a goal for 5 years from now. That's a reality today. And the secret is a revolutionary way of handling memory. So how on earth is that possible? It's all thanks to this, the shard memory pyramid. It works a lot like our own memory. The most critical, hot knowledge is kept in the fastest memory for instant access. Then, more specific, warm knowledge is loaded into RAM only when it's needed for a particular task. Everything else stays in cold storage. The bottom line is, the system is incredibly smart about only loading what's immediately relevant. It doesn't carry the whole library around, it just grabs the one book it needs. And that is the key that unlocks massive scale and incredible energy efficiency.
So that incredible efficiency is pillar number one. But pillar number two is arguably even bigger. This is about how the CRM makes knowledge itself a standardized, transferable asset. This is the Universal Knowledge Protocol, and frankly, it's the system's ultimate competitive moat. The core innovation here is a standard called logic maps. You can think of a logic map as a universal file format, but instead of storing a picture or a document, it stores a piece of knowledge, a reasoning method, an expert's perspective, anything. By standardizing knowledge like this, all those billions of implicit weights inside other AI models, well, they suddenly look like horseshoes in the age of the automobile, a relic of a past technology. So where do we get these logic maps? This is the almost magical part. It's a simple four-step process. 1. You take any LLM out there, it doesn't matter which one, and you teach it the logic map format with a single prompt. 2. You ask it to export what it knows about a topic. 3. The LLM spits out that knowledge as a perfectly structured logic map. And 4. You instantly load that map into the CRM. And just like that, you've achieved a perfect, lossless transfer of capability from any model into our reasoning engine. Let's just pause for a second and think about the business implications here, because they are staggering. Every single large language model on the market, every massive, multi-million-dollar training run by Google, by OpenAI, by anyone, it all becomes a free source of structured knowledge for our architecture. We don't compete with them. We harvest the results of their work. Okay, so we've got this hyper-efficient reasoning engine that can instantly absorb knowledge from anywhere. The big question is, what do you do with it? Well, this is where we start to see the emergence of a completely new kind of autonomous workforce. Take a look at this. Because the system is so lightweight, a single central orchestrator can manage dozens or even hundreds of separate CRM instances at once. Think of it like a hive. The orchestrator is the hive mind, and each one of these nodes is a specialized agent working on a task. This is how you build a coordinated team of autonomous robots on a factory floor, or a swarm of data analysts tearing through a problem in parallel, all from one interface. The applications this unlocks are truly game-changing. You've got these interconnected instances working in parallel. You have autonomous robotics coordinating complex tasks at a scale we've never seen before. But maybe the most powerful part is the adaptive problem-solving. This system can learn a method or a perspective directly from a human expert in real time. And because it's model agnostic, each of those little instances can use the perfect tool for its job. A vision model here, a coding model there, all working together.
And all of this leads to the ultimate application, true job replacement at an unprecedented scale. Think about it. You can teach the CRM a complex role, say a supply chain analyst, just by having it learn from your best human expert. Once that role is captured in a set of logic maps, you can deploy it once, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, instantly. From a productivity standpoint, this is a monumental leap forward. Which brings us right to our final section, the investment opportunity. Let's pull all these threads together and talk about why the Crowell reasoning model isn't just another step, but the future of AI. So, to recap the core value propositions, the knockout punches here. First, you have massive scale and efficiency, AGI-level smarts with a tiny fraction of the cost. Second, you have transferable knowledge, a universal protocol that turns the entire AI industry into your R&D department. Third, it's model agnostic, which makes it totally future-proof. Fourth, it's transparent and controllable, no more black box problem. And finally, the whole thing is wrapped in a strong IP moat, with patents protecting the core external reasoning layer. I'm going to leave you with one final question to think about. We've gone through the tech, the architecture, the applications, but at the end of the day, it really all boils down to this. What is the value of an AI that can learn a complex human role just one time and then be deployed 1,000,000 times over, instantly for nearly zero marginal cost? That's the scale of the opportunity we're talking about here. That's what's on the table.